how do we get rid of these senescent cells and really turn on optimal mitochondrial energy expression? And you mentioned stressing them. And so, when we think about stress, most people think, oh, that's bad. But we're talking about hormetic stressors. And these are the kind of stressors that actually have the potential to make our bodies stronger. Like a personal trainer, when somebody comes in to get in shape, they're not going to put them through an overly intense workout in the beginning because they're going to overwhelm the person's system. They're going to be they're going to be sore for a week. They're never going to come back, and they're going to create too much inflammation in their system. But they want to do something called progressively overloading them, where they just basically stress them to a certain threshold, and a threshold that their body can then rest, get the nutrients it needs, adapt, and then it becomes stronger and more resilient. And then I can handle a little bit more the next time. And so let's talk about that and how it applies to the cell danger response.
Well, that's fascinating because what I love is layering treatments. Okay, layering approaches. Because because we're all different. We all are working with a slightly different genetic expression. Our genes are all pretty much the same, but how they get expressed are pretty different. And so we all hear different signals. So when you're talking about senescence, trying to change those things, of course, exercise is always a good one to start with. Anything that stresses you, that doesn't kill you, does make you stronger.
Yeah.
But the trick is, I think, not kill you. I think a better way to put it is what you were describing with the trainer: stress you without damage, without doing too much damage. A
Yeah.
little bit of damage is the key. Because just talking about the CDR, there was those wonderful studies in exercise physiology where they found if they gave people lots of antioxidants and lots of vitamin C before they exercised, they didn't build as much muscle
Mm.
because it's the oxidant stress, okay, that causes your body that gives the signals to repair. You're not going to get to CDR2 if you didn't go to CDR1. So you
Yeah.
need that inflammatory phase in order to stress the cell enough to then go to the next stage where it gets the signals to rebuild. And but it's that first stage when you're better able to get rid of the weaker mitochondria. I mean, right off the bat, because actually this happens at the cell level, but at the organelle level. The organelles are the little tiny things that live inside the cell, the mitochondria. We have all
Yeah.
kinds of the nucleus, the Golgi body, all these little guys that hang out in there. And you constantly are making new ones. And but you do it best when they get stressed in the way the body seems to have been designed, which is you work it a little harder. Okay. And so, but along with this, when you want to support growth, I mean, that's where, turning on the nervous system, where people do cold plunges and things like that, which stresses the body. Okay. But the beauty of the system is it gets stressed. You get this big sympathetic drive, and then you really turn on your parasympathetics to get the healing going afterwards. So you feel deeply relaxed.
Mm.
And the deeply relaxed state is the best way to heal,
Yeah.
because it gets the signals from the brain that life is safe again, so we can heal. But getting back to apoptosis, so there's the using light, using people, and the thing about light is that you have proponents of red light and some of the blue light and different frequency bands. And the people, some of the researchers that I've spoken to, and it makes sense, really feel that it's many of these bands that are important. It's nice to know that your machine has got 805 hertz, a wavelength for the light. But really, it's like sunlight, because it is sunlight that we need.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
going to help restore our inner balance. But using the light to help heal the cell, increase energy, and when you put energy in, you will get rid of weakened cells.
Mm.
That's the thing. It's not just the stress, but also having enough energy in there to decide to to die. It's kind of like the senescent cell is operating in a very narrow band of like it's not, it doesn't have enough energy to go to normal, and it doesn't seem to have enough energy to turn on the signals
Mm.
to die. And when we stress it a little bit and we also increase more energy in the body as a whole, it's more likely that those cells will make a choice, go back, finish the cycle, actually maybe make it into CDR3 and then heal, or you know, die. And it's crucial that we do this. But again, it's the signaling. Now, there's lots of people are using lots of supplements which seem to have a benefit and some peptides. But I think for most people, exercise
Hmm.
and exercise and sunlight exposure are kind of like
Yeah.
and are probably, and again, getting adequate sleep. It's all that thing. It's because
Yeah.
it's energy. Energy. If you don't have healthy flow in the system, your body can't make healthy choices. I mean, this sounds so pedestrian, but that's what I said about story. Those old stories are true. They are the wisdom. I mean, we and I myself, we keep trying to like add things, add the right supplement to try to get that to go better. But it comes down to the basic lifestyle is what's going to keep people healthy. It doesn't always get you well when you're chronically ill. That's
Yeah.
the kicker
Yeah,
in life.
super key. And when I think about sleep, obviously one of the things I think about is melatonin. And when it comes to the mitochondria, melatonin is the most powerful antioxidant because it can slip in and out of the, double membrane of the mitochondria. And it's very powerful for basically buffering oxidative stress and helping improve mitochondrial function. And of course, when we sleep, we're releasing melatonin and we're getting a big melatonin release while we're sleeping. And also, when we're exposed to infrared, for example, you were talking about the sun, that's a huge stimulator of mitochondrial melatonin to help protect the mitochondria. So, we've got the great stimulus there. And then what are your thoughts on fasting or fasting mimicking diet, which is another approach? I know they're doing a lot of research, but intermittent fasting and fasting for helping stimulate autophagy to get rid of these senescent cells.
It seems to work.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been enough studies that shown it works. I think it's a great thing. I sometimes wonder, I I think people sometimes work too hard to optimize their health. Um, and we have two
You
ends of
can
this.
overstress your system, right? Doing
Yeah,
too
yeah.
many of
Well,
these biohacks.
right. We have two ends of the spectrum. The people who like, want to sit on the couch eating,
Yeah.
junk food and watch television, and the people who want to be working out and fasting all day. And, I don't think I know either end isn't good. It's just not how the system, I think, was designed. I think the stress intermittent fasting, I think, is a wonderful thing for people to do. I think people making a religion out of it is probably more than is needed. I think if people fasting, if people have the discipline to fast, for 2 to 4 days, maybe once a quarter, I think is a phenomenal thing to do. Just, I mean, again, we go back to just go, evolution and nature. Go back to our hunting and gathering days. I think that's probably when we were living as close to a sustainability for not just for the planet, but for the human being. There's this thing of accumulation and and growth, and we can see in our own lives that we don't want too much accumulation and growth, or we get cancers,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, it's clear, and it's
Yeah. We
so
need to cycle between anabolic and catabolic, right? That's why
yes.
I'm a big fan of this idea of the feast famine cycling, right? Because when we're feasting, we're stimulating a lot of insulin, IGF-1, mTOR, right? Which as a child or a pregnant woman, you should be stimulating a lot of that. As an adult, less so, but you still need some stimulation of that. And then, as an adult, especially, we want to prioritize more of the AMPK, right? Getting still small bouts where we have growth, right? And
Yeah.
anabolic activity, but then also balancing it with a good amount of AMPK, autophagy, cell cleansing, right? Things like that.